Welcome back for episode 9 of Sister Moms. This week on Sister Moms, we're talking about pandemic parenting. So, what is it to parent during a pandemic? That means work, parent, cook, grocery shop, everything. You got a whole new hat, and it shifted our lives like crazy. So, that's what we're going to be talking about today on our episode. But before we jump in, Janisha, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm very excited because last night I ate at my favorite restaurant, Hot and Juicy.
Ooh.
I
What'd you get?
got crab legs, shrimp, potatoes, corn, and a boiled egg. That's new. It started in Vegas. We didn't have boiled egg in Vegas, but they expanded the menu. Now they have a boiled egg.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
Wow.
So
That's
that's my excitement for today. What about you, Shelly? How's your week?
It's been good. I'm trying to think of exciting things like nothing huge. I do the whole plant-based eating or vegan eating, but every now and then I have seafood.
Mhm.
So I had crawfish and it's crazy expensive out here. I'm not even going to tell y'all how much it costs because I don't want nobody to know. But I had crawfish and I didn't have faith in it because in Mobile we had the best crawfish. And so I'm in Texas and I was skeptical, but it was good. So if you
Mm.
come visit, I will take you there.
Okay. I did not get crawfish in my bag. Shalette did. She got the drool, so the crawfish and the crispy calamari. The calamari doesn't go in her bag, but I had never had the calamari from there. So I got to try a little extra yesterday for the first time.
Oh, that's what's up.
Mm.
And for those who don't know, we have one more person with us today. Kim, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing real good. I'm glad to be on here with you guys. I am very honored, actually. So I can't wait. I can't wait to get started. And I hope crawfish tastes good because I've never had it before. I look at it and it's little. I'm just like, is that? I don't want that. And you had call you said that's squid or is it octopus? What you had, Nisha?
Uh, which one is calamari, Shelly?
How? Woo! Okay.
It's fried. It's fried.
It's well, I'm glad y'all are being adventurous and trying new things.
We grew up eating seafood, so it ain't a thing.
Ain't no
I
thing.
heard that. Well, give me some shrimp and crabs, and I'll stay right there. I'm good with that. Yes, but yes, I am happy to be here with y'all. Like, thank you so much for inviting me on, and I can't wait to dive in with you, ladies. Absolutely.
Well, we're happy you're here. We can't wait to jump in and get more information from you because you got all the deets on this episode. But I just kind of want to give a little background on like why we think this topic is important. Any mom listening already knows why this topic is important if you're at home with little
Yeah.
ones. But we talked about last week in our episode about how important it is to get creative. Maybe that was 2 weeks ago. How important it is to get creative. And moms have been having to get, and dads have been having to get super creative when you are keeping your kids at home all day, if that's the route that you're taking. But like sometimes we need suggestions from other moms. We need to be reminded that we're not the only ones out here struggling and fighting, to know that there's a community of people out here, or women, dads, parents out here that are also enduring the same things. So Janisha and I have talked a lot about like what it's like to have our girls at home all day. And we have one. We like to have guests with multiple children because it brings a whole new dynamic. And so our guest today is going to be able to give all of that. But before we get started, Janisha's going to get a little bit of background from our guest, Kim.
So before I even ask her questions, I'll let you know how we know Kim. We both know her. We met her 17 years ago in high school. So it's been a really, really long time. We always joke that Kim was Shelly's friend first, and I stole her from her. But we both love her. She's like family for sure. We grew up like always at her house all the time.
I
So
won't tell y'all how we hung out most of the time. We've
It
matured since then.
that's
doesn't even
y'all.
feel like
I
it's been
wasn't a
that
part of that.
long. It doesn't. I swear we was just like 16 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
we're old. But so that's how I know Kim. Another thing, as I promised you all, that you all will meet all of the authors of my book, Character is Beauty, at some point. So Kim is one of the authors in the book. She wrote the section about shame. So that's another piece of our connection right now. She's a part of Healing for My Heels and our prayer circle. So we're talking all the time.
Indeed.
I'll let her share a little more about herself. So first, let's talk about the mom life so they can know, like, why should we be listening to her about this pandemic parenting? So Kim, can you tell us like how many kids you have and what age your kids are?
Okay, well, I have 3 kids. I have a 13-year-old, I have a 9-year-old, and I have a 4-year-old. So I got every stage. Um, I tell you what, it is a privilege, but at the same time, it is a challenge. So, again, thank y'all for having me on here because it's like being in 3 different places at the same time. Is that possible, guys? I don't know. I don't know, but I try. I try. I try.
Yes, you're doing an amazing job. So just so you all know, the oldest one is the boy and the younger ones are the girls. So she has
Yeah.
a teenager, y'all, a boy teenager.
Mm.
Okay, so that's your mom life. As far as work, what type of work do you do? Are you an entrepreneur? You work a 9 to 5? What does your work life look like during the pandemic?
Well, I have a 9 to 5. I am a financial management analyst, but I also am an entrepreneur as well. So I have things on the side that I'm currently trying to birth up out of here and get it going. So I'm excited about that. Um, I'm working on it and it is challenging, but it's fun. I will not take that out of it. It is fun to have the 9 to 5, but also trying to be an entrepreneur, but also being a mother over top of all of that. It
Yeah.
poses challenges, but it is fun. Like I'm telling y'all, it's fun. It can be done.
Mm-hmm.
It can be done. So yeah, I got things I'm working on. Like I'm excited about it. So yeah, the 9 to 5, y'all, it used to be 9 to 5, but now it's 24/7. Just saying. COVID got all in the way. So 24/7.
Yes.
24/7.
That's a good way. I'm thinking about, oh, you're used to saying you're 9 to 5, but a lot of people don't have that set schedule anymore because they have to take breaks with their kids. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's good. Okay. I want to go into one more thing because she didn't share. So we have this podcast that she's on, and I would like her to share a little bit about her upcoming podcast.
Well, thank you, Nisha. I did. I forgot to mention it. So I do have an upcoming podcast, and my podcast is called Intentionally Me, Kim Harvey. I am working on it. I can't wait until this thing is ready to launch. Y'all, it's going to bless y'all. It's blessing me.
Yes, girl.
It's blessing me because I am walking my journey out. I'm going to be walking my journey out with everyone,
Yes.
and I'm all for it now.
Yes.
Let me tell you, I wasn't for it at first, but I'm all for it now. I'm all for it. So yeah, I'm super excited about it. When I get ready to launch it, Nisha know about it, Shelly know about it. So we'll post this thing out there so everybody can see what's going on and come in and walk this thing out with me. It's gonna
Yes.
be fun. We're
I'm
gonna laugh.
excited, y'all. Kim is a lot of fun. She's being a little, chill today with us, but
I think it's the
I'm
time of
sure
day.
it is the morning, but I'm sure y'all will get all the personality on her podcast.
Indeed, indeed.
So my last background question is, what type of support do you have with your children?
Oh man, I have a village. Ain't no denying that. I have a village. I have my parents, I have my sisters, I have my brothers, I have my kid's father. I even have, his sisters and brothers. I have a whole village to support me. Um, it still can be challenging at times because a village don't want to support you 24/7. Let me
Say
just put
that.
that out there.
Say that.
They don't want to support you 24/7, but they're gonna help you. But you better choose wisely. Okay? Choose wisely because they'll tell you quick. Like, look, I just helped you yesterday. I don't think I helped you today. Like, okay, got it, got it, got it. But I have a village, y'all, and I'm thankful to have it. You know, a lot of people don't have that, but that doesn't mean that you still can't get it done. You just have to find other outlets. But I do have a village, and I'm very grateful for it, for sure. Oh yes.
That's amazing. Yeah. So I wanted to, just ask some of the questions about her life in general as a mother. I love how she brought up the village piece. And we, on one of our episodes, Sis, You Need Help. It's asking for it, even if you want to say no. And Kim is pretty good with being okay with when her parents got to tell her no. She going no. She's like, Mom might say no, but I'll ask her. So she's not scared to ask. So that's a great thing that she's gotten to that space of, I need it. I'll ask when, and they'll help me when they can or when they feel like it. I can't make them, but I will ask. So that's amazing. So I'm going to pass it to Shelly. Shelly goes into the pandemic parenting. Shelly, you forgot the word pandemonium.
Pandemic parenting pandemonium. My
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Triple P. Got it.
Yes.
So I'm gonna go ahead and jump in and ask some of these questions about the parenting pandemic pandemonium. All right. So the biggest thing for parents when the pandemic hit was schools closing. So what was your initial reaction when you got the word that schools were shutting down and you were now responsible for these kids all day, every day?
Well, my initial reaction, I'm not even gonna say on here, but I was really stuck. I was like, what? Like, what am I like? So two of my kids in school, but nonetheless, the 4-year-old, she will be 5 this month. But I was just like, what am I going to, or how am I going to do this with them? This is going to be new to all of us. No, don't get me wrong. I was like, whoop, whoop, Kim's going to telework. Yes, 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 yes. Then when they came back behind, like, kids going to be home too. I was like, kids going to be home.
Right. It's that
I'm
sound like
like,
whoop.
I was like, wait a minute. I initially, like, my brain was going crazy because I'm like, okay, it was really put me in a place where it's like, okay, you're really going to have to sit down and have a schedule. Did y'all just hear me? Sit down and have a
Yes.
schedule. But it was, I know it's going to be necessary, but I was really shocked. I was afraid. I was nervous. I'll be honest. I was nervous. I felt like, what if I got to help my kids? So what if I fail them? Then it was like, all right, Kim, push that back. We can do this. We just got to see what it's going to be like. So initially, I had all kinds of feelings just kind of balled up together because I didn't know what it was going to look like for me, for them at all. Like I had
Right.
no clue.
I like that positive self-talk piece because I get stuck in that the world is ending. I can't do this. This is crazy. Somebody come get this one child of mine. You were like, I can do this. I can do this. So I like that piece. I got to work on that.
I'm still working on it too. Don't worry
Right.
about
So
it. We're gonna work on it
uh
together.
look, I'm gonna be calling like him. How you do this? Like I don't get it.
So I'm
But
be like,
yes,
let's pray on it first. Let's pray on it first.
that part, yes. So how was it the initial adjustment? Because I know things kind of rolled out like, oh, you're working from home. Oh, you keeping the kids, and then you threw in that virtual school piece. So how was the adjustment period?
It was hard. It was very hard. The reason why it was so hard is because, initially the kids at first was like, ooh, no school. We're gonna be home from school. Like, this is great, right?
Right.
But then jumping into it, it was IT issues, getting everything set up, and then the kids not wanting to get up, and their mindset was, we're already at home. Is it really necessary, Mom, that we get up? Yes. Hello, mommy got to get up. You got to get up too. And they were like, but we're doing school from home. I'm aware, but unfortunately, you got to get up. So my kids really had in their head. Now did have one, y'all. She was like, "Ooh, yay, mommy! Like I'm ready. I'm ready for school. You don't have to wake me up. I'm up." I'm like, "There you go, baby girl. Yes, yes." Now my son, the 13-year-old, woo, he was a whole handful. He was a whole handful. I had to play double dutch. I was jumping back and forth, back and forth. My son was like, "Oh yeah, I'm good, Mom." Then I look over, he's asleep. And then my daughter's like, Mom, I'm over here doing great, but I just missed everything the teacher just said. What did she say? I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I got text messages like, hey, I got text I got text messages and they're like, hey Kim, we just sent you X, Y, and Z. Can you have this done? This is urgent. I'm like, I was like, someone help me. We're gonna fail. We're gonna
All four of
fail.
us.
We're gonna fail. And guys, and I'll be perfectly honest. During this time too, my kid's father had got sick. Like I'm talking about went straight into kidney failure. So I'm over here going back and forth to the hospital, virtual learning, doing my 9 to 5, which is really 24/7 because I'm logging on at 2 o'clock in the morning. And then from there, I'm like keeping up with medications, keeping up with school. Honey, you can't fall behind. You can't get behind. You got to go to bed. You got to get up. Did we eat?
Right.
That's where we were, man. Yes, that's where we were at. And I was like,
Oh,
I felt defeated. I felt so defeated. I did.
wow. I can't imagine like all at once because you got the pandemic, you got the virtual school, you got the virtual or stay at home working. Then you throw on
Hmm.
another piece of hospital visits during the pandemic. And so he has a non-COVID related thing, but he's in the hospital and then you worried about that on top of it.
Oh man, yes, yes.
Oh my goodness. So yours wasn't like just a pandemic adjustment. It was like a whole life shift of Kim, you the boss of everybody right now. And man,
Yeah, you're right. I'm glad you used like the Kim, you the boss of everybody right now, but Kim was scared. I'm like, hey, I don't want to leave this thing. I don't want to do this. Like, can you just give me a little bit? And it was like, nope, you got it all. I'm like, oh, okay, okay.
so Kim, my next question is, how has your schedule changed? You had one thing happen, but then the hospital visits and things like that. So how were you able to get a schedule at some point, or just how did it change, or is it just like we every day is a new schedule? Like what? How did that work?
Um, well, every day is a new schedule. I literally had to reach out to Janisha. I had to reach out because my schedule was everywhere and I started feeling overwhelmed and lost. Um, but I also knew I had to get a grip. And Janisha talked to me was like, Kim, do you even have a schedule? And I was like, no. How am I going to have a schedule? Nisha, I don't have time for schedule. She's like, do you hear what you just said? And I'm like, oh. And she's like, you need a schedule so you can have something to follow, something that creates a routine for yourself. She's like, so that way you don't feel like you don't know what you're supposed to be doing at this time or at this time. And at first, I wasn't quite seeing it like that, but Janisha really put it in perspective for me. Like, no, it's going to help you. So she took out the time to help me with a schedule, and I was so grateful because all I kept thinking was, okay, a schedule for my work, and she was like, no, it's scheduled for your life. And I'm like,
That
and
part.
you know what made me feel good? What also made me feel good was what also made me feel good was that she was able to say, and it's okay if you don't go by it completely. If you miss something and then you got to go to the next thing. She's like, don't feel like, oh my goodness, I missed that. So I had to learn that too. But now, did I stick with the schedule all the time, y'all? No, I did not. But it was okay because each day is different, right? Each child needs something different. Schooling is different, work is different, and my me time was different. What I needed to do for Richard during his time was different. So the fact that I even had a schedule though that I can go back to, like, okay, let me move some things around. Okay, let's try to put this here and this here. That helped me a great deal. So I know like people kind of, because this is how I am. I kind of sometimes despise having a schedule, having some type of organization. Just let like that person that has like that junky desk, but they know everything is.
Yes.
That's kind of like how it was. But when you have so much, at some point you're going to have to clean up your desk, right?
Right.
You're going to have some type of organization. So that's what that created for me. So it helped me. So I'm like, okay, well, if you're up by this time, you can at least do this, this, and this. It helps. It helps a great deal. So
So I like that. It's like self-discipline with a side of grace.
yeah,
And if y'all don't know,
absolutely.
Janisha is the schedule queen. I'm over here every time I talk to her on Zoom. I'm like, "What are you looking at?" She's like, "I'm looking at my schedule." What? Janisha, can you do this? Let me check my schedule. I love that about her. So I have to use. I have to. She gonna have to help me with my life. She gonna have to Iyanla Van Zant fixed my life with that schedule piece. But yeah, so you got that schedule together. You extended yourself some grace. What's been the most challenging part of this whole new shift?
The most challenging part was my mental and making sure that I didn't fail my kids. And when I say fail them, I know like people are like, what do you mean fail them? Virtual learning was something so new for them too. So I couldn't keep thinking about myself. It was challenging for them.
Mm,
It was challenging for them, even though they were excited about being home. But once they started getting online and trying to do the assignments, they got to a point they were like, Mom, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do this. I feel challenged. Does this mean I don't? Even my kids were sometimes like, does this mean I'm stupid? No,
no.
no, 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 no. I had to really become my kids' life coach. I had to be their comforter, their best friend, their teacher on the side of the laptop. Like, what did the teacher say?
Don't forget you the cafeteria worker too, and the janitor.
Yes, yes, lunch, breakfast, everything. Like I had to be everything and still encourage them. Like it was so important to encourage them. Like you got this. It's a learning curve, but mom's gonna help you. The teachers are there to help you. You know, we had to do it together. Dad's gonna help you. It was different, but at the same time, there was excitement in it. There was, but there was the encouragement that had to be pulled in because there were times where things would get just difficult. You know, why does it have to be so hard, honey? You know, why can't COVID go away? I wish it could, but it's okay. We're gonna make it through this. So it was just learning when to put on what hat.
Right, right. And when to take one off.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the
I think I forgot to do that
strategy.
sometimes.
Right, right. I can imagine because that's one thing. I used to be a teacher and I still try to tutor some. And I tell parents like when you feel like when you're trying to help them with their homework or their schoolwork and you just feel like a complete failure, just know really that's not even a hat you should be wearing. Like you shouldn't have to be the teacher. Like I tell one person I tutor now, my husband's cousin, and she's like, I just don't know where the disconnect is when I'm helping him. I'm like, you his mom, and that's what he sees when he comes home. This
Mm.
is his house. This is his place of comfort. He doesn't feel like he has to put on or take off hats. And so no any parent listening, you are not a failure. I'm not saying you shouldn't help your kids with their work, but when you're one thing and there's a comfort with that and you're like, I'm the comforter or I'm the this, to tell them to take things seriously and to switch, it's a whole strategy. Because when my students come in, it's like drill sergeant. All right, we're gonna sit down like this, we're gonna pick up, but you can't do that at home. You don't have time to create a whole new structure and discipline. They laughing at you like, Mom, you crazy. I'm not doing that. So I applaud you because we've talked a couple times before about just how you did that gracefully, or not even, or the days you did it without any grace, and you just did it. And so, but you kept moving forward in the encouragement. And I think it's your middle child, or she's just so excited. Because I'm a middle child and I just want to please my parents. I'm like, look what I did. So I'm sure she's just like gives you a little bit of extra, like, I can do this, or just that smile. Does she give you
Hmm.
that?
She does. She is the one who's constantly like, Mom, look what I did. Mom, did you hear what I just said? Yes, I did. And I am the one like with her, I'm always like super encouraging with her because it fuels her.
Yeah.
And I also want to go back and say thank you for saying that we don't need to wear that hat because for a minute, that is what I was thinking, like, oh, gotta be a teacher, gotta be a teacher. But then I also want to say to the moms too, there were days that my kids didn't get online and I didn't force them.
Hey,
And at first I was like, oh, I'm such a bad mom. But it was so needed because kids can get depleted too.
that's a fact.
They can get so frustrated where they will kind of be rebellious and be like, they'll log on and be like, I'm not gonna do anything though.
Right.
So, and I started noticing that and I was like, okay. So I would say, how about this, guys? You don't not online today, but we're gonna do some asynchronous work, and I'll help you. Let's just sit
Mhm.
down and do that. Some days are better than others. You're gonna have the good days and the bad days. So don't beat yourself up about it. Because I
All
almost did. I
right.
was like, oh, you're gonna get online. You're gonna get online. You're gonna get these good grades. You're gonna figure this out. And then I was like, you can't do that because that's just like you being at work and your boss putting pressure on you. And you're like,
Right.
Like, oh goodness, I don't know if I'm gonna meet this deadline. You know, so the kids were like the two, like, Mom. I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. Just do your best, honey. Just do your best. You
I
know,
love that. We have conversations, Shanisha and I, about like how to instill things in our kids. They're two, first of all. So like, how do we instill confidence? How do we show them to teach them grace? And you're doing that. Like, look, when you're depleted, this is what you do. Your boss, your manager, nobody can tell you when you're tired. You tell yourself when you're tired, and you do something about it. So I love that, Kim. I mean, that's good. Like, take a break from, because my students was just not getting online. They were just like, I'm just not getting on. I don't, what you talking about? Instead of just getting on some days and saying, you know what, I can't do this anymore. They were like, I'm not doing this at all. And then some were on there regularly. So I love that, and I have to really work on that. I love that. So a lot of people talk a lot about the negative parts of what happened during this pandemic and becoming pandemic parents during a pandemonium. And so, what's the best thing that came from it? Like, what do you look at? Like, I would have never been able to have this or do this had this not happened.
let's see here. I think the biggest thing for me was being able to actually have, um, I guess you could say, quality time with my kids and really get to know them. I know it sounds like get to know them, but they're your kids, right? Well, yeah, but sometimes life is so fast paced that we don't sit down and be like, hey, how was your day? How are you feeling? What do you want to do this weekend? What do you want to eat today? You know, those type of moments. Like honestly, with my middle child, because she's usually the more quiet, kind of pulled back. My oldest son is he's very open. And my youngest one, yeah, she's open too. But my middle child is she's more so like she's not gonna tell me unless I go to her. So
Okay.
I enjoy the fact that I got to sit down with her more, to talk with her more. And she opened up with me about how she loves to read, how she wants to do better in reading, how she loves to build, how she loves decor, architect. And I'm like, I'm just like, what? I'm sorry, what? And she was like, yeah, like I love all that stuff, Mom. It makes me so happy. And I'm like, what did you say? You know, and then she's like, can you read to me at night? Mom, let's make up some stories together. She told me, let's use our imagination. And I was like,
Oh,
so it's just having that sit down time to see your kids and see how they're moving, watch their emotions, just have more time with them.
yeah. I like that. I really, really like that because again, I'm gonna speak from that middle child perspective. Like, we won't beg for the attention. We'll just wait. Like, hey, you're with the oldest. Hey, you're with the youngest. I understand. I understand. And then for your parents just to come to you, because I was a daddy's girl, so to come to you and ask you what you like, ask you what you enjoy. That's huge. And then for all the kids, for you to say you like, you're getting to know them better. You really don't get to know your kids when you're busy with what life forces you to do, what your job requires, what school requires, and that last piece about asking them what they want. Janisha does a great job with Imani, which is hilarious sometimes because she'll be like, Imani, do you want this? No. Do you want? I want. And so I try to learn from that, like, oh, I got to ask her what she want. Okay, well, what do you want? And my daughter's just like, what do you mean? What? So I love that they get some opportunity to have some autonomy at home and just be able to say, this is what I want, this is what I want to do. I need this, because at school it's like you do this, and that. When you get to the cafeteria, this is what you're eating. Period. Don't ask no questions. If you don't want this, you're gonna starve and go on to the house. So I really like that we're able to find some positives, in this time. So, do you have any like last or final tips for parents?
For me, I think it would just be, take the time to pay attention to your kids. And sometimes it's not always about structure and making sure that they're doing it right or getting it right. Sometimes it's just sitting down, taking a break, hearing them out, kind of going to their level to understand. Let them know that you're really listening to them. You know, I know it's listen, and I'll say this, I know it's corny as it sounds, right? Because when we were coming up, it was, you just do as you're told. That's it.
Right.
Like with a mom's way, I don't care if you cry yourself to sleep. Just do as you're told. But now it's getting to the point where the kids, they really are looking for that one-on-one time. Hug them, kiss them, even if they're not asking for it.
Right.
Let them know you care and you're thinking about them, because you could walk away to go wash the dishes. Next thing you know, someone's tapping you on your shoulder, and you turn around, and it's that little fellow, that little girl, and they're like, "Mom, can we talk for a minute?" And it's like, "Oh,
You
yes,
want to
we
talk to
can.
me?
Yes, yes, we can. What you want to talk about?" Those are the moments that I end up like, I was missing this the whole time, because I do remember my middle child, or even my son sometimes like trying to get my attention. And I just would be like, wait a minute, wait, I'm doing something. Just give me a few minutes. By that time, they don't walk away, and they had no intentions of coming back. And when I
Mm,
would go to them and be like, hey, did you need something earlier? And they're like, it's okay. I'm good. Now I realize, being stuck in the house with them all the time, that they really are sometimes crying out just to get some of your attention. And it's okay if you can't make it on the one-on-one dates and all that. Reading a book for some kids, I'm not saying all y'all, for
mm.
some kids is enough. Sitting down, popcorn night, movie night is enough. Sitting
Yes.
down, I watch my daughters with their dad. They sit down and they color, and he goes and buy coloring books and crayons. And at first I'm thinking something like, oh, it's just coloring books and crayons. But when they're at that table together, I mean, they're over here having competitions. They're laughing. They're giggling. Like, Dad, you're the best dad ever. And I'm like, we just got some books and crayons, right? And then I'm over here like, it's the little things. It's the little things. So we have to pay attention to little things. Like, you don't have to go out and go to the movies, or, be at the national parks and all that, which is great. Don't get me wrong, because COVID right now is just holding that up. But, we're going to get there. But right now, it's the little things. Go riding bikes with them. It is so much fun. It is so much fun. So that's what we got to take into consideration, the little things with our children. We got to pay attention, even if it's just once out the week. So don't think every second you got to be like, oh, let me see what the kids doing. It's okay. It takes time, but you'll get it. It'll come to you, and you'll start seeing things differently about your kids. Like, I didn't know they liked that. Oh, I didn't know they were even interested in that. You're gonna start seeing things like that. So even just seeing my kid's father with them with the coloring book, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go get some paint. I'm gonna get some paint. I'm gonna try to one up that. I'm gonna get some paint, some canvases and stuff.
And go to
So
be extra.
yes, but it's stuff like that. So that's my tip. The little things makes a huge difference.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that because time. I mean, you can't buy time. You can't. I
right.
mean, anytime we think back on our times with our parents, it's the quality time we spent together. It's not about exactly what we did. Like my parents took us to so many places, and there's things that I think about. I just remember sitting at the dinner table with them. Like if I don't remember a lot, I don't remember King's Dominion and Six Flags and all that. I remember sitting at the table and us just talking about our day, you know?
Yeah,
And so I love that the pandemic gave us that quality time, not time where they tapping you like, hold on, give me a second. So and so's on line one and so, you get to actually just put things on pause. You get to select what you're going to give your attention to and when. And so, like you say, you work 24/7. For some people, they're like, I don't like that. But okay, I get to spend the best parts of my day with my child, and
hmm
then I can figure out the rest later. I really, really love that, especially for someone who's not working right now. Like I'm feeling it for y'all. I'm like, I don't know how y'all do all of this, but I hear you speak about it. And it's a lot about giving yourself that grace and extending that same grace to your kids. So we appreciate you joining us today for episode 9 of Sister Moms. For those of you that are listening, please make sure that you go ahead and like and subscribe to Sister Moms, share our episodes, and we look forward to seeing you later, Kim, and hearing more about your podcast. Bye,
Thank you,
guys.
guys.
Thank you. Bye.